Hey everybody, so I've been running for a while now, and I made a long video that touched on several topics, but one of the things I touched on, this happened to come up that was related, was the technique that I used to get over my anxiety and panic attacks in certain situations. So when I first developed my anxiety and panic attacks, they were about as bad as they can get. I mean, my hands would seize up, lock up, face would go numb, whole body would go numb, and I would feel like I was having a heart attack or something. It was terrible. When they first started, for months on end, I was just in and out of the hospital. There was points where I pretty much went paralyzed, was projectile vomiting, stuck in the bed, unable to move or even speak. It was bad. And another thing that happened was when I would drive, I would have these massive panic attacks when I would be driving. And I love to drive, but for whatever reason, I just started getting real scared and was developing these crazy symptoms while driving. Also, another thing that happened out of nowhere is I wasn't able to drink coffee all of a sudden, not even a sip. And I mean, before that, I would sip on coffee throughout the day, no problem. Drink a lot of coffee, actually, probably too much. But then out of nowhere, I couldn't even take a fucking sip. So to get over these issues, I decided to face my fears. And there was a lot of irrational fears that arose once I developed this condition. But not being able to drive was a fucking no-go. You know, I could have done without the coffee. I didn't want to, but anyways, the main goal was to get over the issue of not being able to drive. So my strategy was, okay, I'm gonna face my fears, but not only am I just gonna drive more until it's gone, I told myself, and as a lot of you may know, caffeine can massively increase the symptoms of anxiety. It will bring your blood pressure up, your heart rate, things like that. So if you're having anxiety, it's definitely not the best thing to do to drink a bunch of coffee. But my whole thing was I needed to get over this fear, and I wanted it to be as bad as possible so that I can overcome it. So I went to the corner store and I made me a fat cup of coffee. I think it was like the high voltage, strongest one I could get. Probably not the healthiest thing to do, but what I did was I bought that coffee, I fucking chugged it, and I started driving, forcing myself to have anxiety, forcing myself to get over this fucking irrational fear that I'm somehow gonna die and have a heart attack because I'm driving. It would be even worse, I noticed back then, when I would get a certain distance away from my home. Just didn't feel safe. It was fucking crazy, because I loved driving before that. So I used this strategy of facing my fear to get over this issue. And after making it a regular practice of drinking coffee, forcing myself through anxiety, and then driving, and finally getting over it and overcoming it, I didn't have anxiety while driving anymore, or it wasn't as bad. And it slowly progressed until it was gone. This helped me massively. And what a lot of doctors will do is prescribe you a pill that you have to take before every time you drive. And that shit is not sustainable, and you don't know what the side effects are gonna be. But if you have an all-natural tool that you can use, it's only beneficial to yourself and your health, why not, of course, use that instead? So that's what I did, and I've utilized this strategy for other aspects of my life. I always thought from the beginning that, you know, places that give you anxiety, like a lot of people can relate to the grocery store thing or being around big crowds. You know, you don't usually feel anxiety right when you wake up. And I thought to myself, you know what? If people just had this exposure to what makes them the most anxious, and they did it every day, like if you woke up in a grocery store, if that's what gives you anxiety, every morning you woke up around all these people and it became the norm, would you really still have anxiety in that situation? Probably not. You get used to it, you get over it. Anyways, I hope that this strategy is able to help someone else like it helped me, because I've used it in a lot of other aspects of my life, and it helped me massively. Hope it's able to do the same for some of y'all. Love y'all. Hope you have a good one. Later.